Help remove any fears, any blocks, any judgments, any expectations of the outcome as I bring forth what is needed in these holy moments for the highest good. Feel free to record this if you want to. I will be as well. Good afternoon. Welcome. Welcome on this wonderful spring day. Spring is a season of growth and of expansion, of rebirth, of new energy coming into the world, a reawakening of old energy. It's a time of celebration, of joy, of beauty, of laughter. What a wonderful time to be alive. What a wonderful time to follow the example that nature provides, to grow, to expand, to remember that you are a piece of all that is, a piece of source energy. Each one of you is connected to each other and to all that is on this plane through your souls, through your vibrations, through the very fabric that holds you on this planet. For so long there has been separation from one another, from Mother Earth, from each other, by design. People have kept other people in states of separation to help them advance their causes and their agendas. And they used fear as that tool. But there is nothing to fear, for you are all source energy. The power that creates worlds surges through you, surges through everything around you. If you are a piece of all that is, why would there be anything to fear? For it is just another aspect of you. An important piece to all of this is, as source energy, you're eternal. You have never not existed, you will never not exist. And as such, this grand adventure called life is just a stopping point on the map of your existence. Remembering that will serve you well. Remembering, like the trees that have gone dormant and rebloom, you are called to rebloom if you choose to. You are called to grow and to expand and to experience all that this incarnation, this planet, this life has to offer. To do so, you must remember you are source energy. And in moments of doubt or fear, which is very human and very natural, remember to lean into that eternity, lean into all that you are. The things that cause fear, the things that are hard, are there for you to grow. For things to expand, it must remove itself from its comfort zone. Think of a seed. The shell is all the seed knows until it is called by seasons to be something else. Planted in the ground, it suddenly cannot remain. It is urged forth by its very nature to sprout. As it sprouts and breaks through the soil and finds the sun, the seed casing that it knew so well, that was familiar, that was comfortable, is cast aside for brighter days and bigger agendas. The same is true for you. The things that have held you in your younger stages, that have been comfortable for you, ideas, thoughts, beliefs, the time is now to look to the sun and allow the rays of warmth and joy to fill you and expand you from what was. And some of those beliefs have let you think that you are not good, that you are not worthy, that you are not loved. All of those things are the lies. You are all of that. The time is now to grow and to expand and to feel the sun shine upon you and become all that you are called to be by growing and becoming. As you walk through this life, do so looking for things that bring you happiness and joy. The first thing we would suggest is to turn off your news. Stop feeding into the cycles of fear, for there is far more joy and goodness and happiness on this planet than there is darkness and despair. Now, be clear, there is darkness and despair, but we're saying that unless you are directly involved in that, which makes it part of your journey, it's really nothing that you need to pay attention to. Energy goes where your attention flows. So if you focus on things, not preferred, negative, dark, just by your sheer attention, you draw that to you through something you all know as a law of attraction. That which is like it to itself is drawn. When you're focused on something, that energy is drawn to you. And we are saying that that is a real thing. And we are encouraging you, instead of focusing on what your media and your politicians and certain people would have you focus on, instead find those things that make you happy. Find those things that provide you a sense of fulfillment, a sense of joy. Focus on those. For again, where your energy and attention go, that is drawn to you. And so when you find things that are joyful, that will bring you joy. This isn't about thinking happy thoughts. There's nothing wrong with that. There's some wonderful songs about that very thing. This is about changing yourself on a vibrational level. You are vibrational beings. Source energy itself is not a guy sitting in a cloud with a beard judging people. Source energy is vibration, is a sound. And sound and vibration entrain with one another, and through vibration bring more into accord. The bowls that were rung at the beginning, as you listen to them, each had a distinctive note, but they blended together into a chord, and you could hear the pulsing of the vibrations between each note. That's what we're talking about. When they vibrated together, they made a beautiful sound. And that's what we're asking each of you to do by vibrating in your state of joy. When your state of joy mixes with others' states of joy around you, the chord is like those bowls. It is beautiful, it is rich, it is luxurious, and more are called into relaxation, into alignment with that joy. When more and more gather together in that vibration, that spreads through something you know as entrainment. If you think of a car driving by with the bass booming, and inside your house, in your cupboards, your dishes rattle, the dishes themselves are entraining to the vibration of the car. That's what we're talking about here. You being of the vibration of joy that others might be in that same vibration with you. You walk down the street, you see an individual, you smile, they smile back. That's the same thing we're talking about. That is catchy. It is exciting, and it changes the energy of the space you're in. When two or more are gathered, it is said in some of your scriptures, there I am also. what the scripture really means is where two or more are gathered with the same vibration, the vibration is amplified. It's a mathematical formula. So find joy. Find things that will bring you joy and focus on that. Sometimes it's not easy. We understand. That's your job as a conscious creator of your world. Now, conscious creation. That is taking responsibility for your incarnation and understanding the tools that you have at your disposal to direct how your experience unfolds. An unconscious creator is someone who allows the experiences of others, the vibrations that are coming at them, to overrule them, and they become entrained to that energy and therefore feel chaotic, feel like they have no control over their lives. That isn't necessarily true, but they might not know about their own control. So you, being in a vibration of love and joy, when encountering those individuals, can help explain to them through how you are, not through words, through your experiences, through a lesson of who you are in space and time. By being yourself, by being in your joy, they will look to you and they will see and they will choose to follow or not to follow. Sometimes staying in a vibration of chaos is a powerful place for them because they feel they get attention, they feel they get love, they feel they get notoriety. They don't need that in that way. They are already love. They also are pieces of source energy. How would the world look different if everyone remembered that they are not only source energy, but bound to one another? That every action they cause is really an action that they cause to themselves. Now that's a little bit too large of a concept for most people to handle, so just be in your joy. Just be in your vibration. Walk through the day, finding things. Make it a conscious game, if you will, to find things that bring you joy and happiness and focus on those. And then watch how your world transforms. Watch how it changes. This is a time of respite. The chaos that has been going on for quite a while is not done, but it has subsided a little. This is a chance to breathe. This is a chance for you to choose your path, choose your alignment, and rebuild your strength and get ready as we enter from spring into summer. Summer is a time of activity, a time of joy, a time of spending time in nature. And we would encourage you to spend as much time in nature as you can. Again, nature is also connected to you, for it is from the same source. When you look at the flower, when you look at the bee, remember that they are a part of you as well. Look at them with those eyes and those lenses and see the beauty inherent in each one. The curve of the petal, the flap of the wing, all divinely ordained. With that in mind, how does that change how you interact with them? Take some time this summer as the season unfolds and be in that space and be in that energy. Everything we're talking about is about a way of being. What you do is you simply be. That is a different space. There's nothing you can truly do to change this or to amplify the vibrations. It's simply being in that space, being in that energy, knowing that you are source energy, knowing that you are a piece of all that is, and feeling it in your heart, letting that warmth flow over you. Discard those things that no longer serve you. There are beliefs and patterns and behaviors that you have been carrying and doing for a lot of your life. Take the time to dig through those archives and the things that are lying in there that are not allowing you to be in your joy, that are diminishing any thoughts of who you are, those perhaps should be discarded. Instead, remembering and holding on to the fact that you are indeed a piece of source energy, that the power that creates worlds surges through you, and that nothing can truly harm you because you are eternal. As you embrace that energy, as you feel what it feels like to be in that space, that will change how you show up. People will notice that you are a light, that you are joyful, that you are fun to be around, and they'll want to know why and how. And you simply tell them, I'm finding things that make me happy. I'm finding my joy. Many won't understand and will scoff at those words because they don't understand that this is talking about a vibrational change, not just simply doing something that makes you happy, but feeling into it, being in that moment, being in that joy. That message is more important and more powerful than the simple words that are spoken. This is an energetic shift. It's about being in the space. The darkness will still happen. The bad experiences, the bad days will still show up. But what changes is how you respond to them, how you greet those unpreferred experiences. When you're in your joy, when you are unflappable in your vibration, those experiences, first of all, are not attracted to you, or if they are, it is not in the same way. And they simply roll off of you like water off the back of a duck. Be in that vibration. Be in that energy. Some of you today come with questions. We would love a chance to unpack this with you and help you find clarity and understanding in your world. So if you have questions, now is the time.
I'll ask a question. So I would like some clarity around, I guess, manifestation and goals, and how do you know if you're on the right path and maybe you're running into some wrenches in the system or whatever? How do you know if you should keep trying in that direction to work harder, or is that your guides saying, hey, you shouldn't go in that direction, maybe you should go in a different direction? So how do you distinguish between working harder or just taking a different turn?
So there are two ways to look at this. We're going to unpack a little bit on each side and then give you the answer to your question.
Okay.
Sometimes the difficult situations are brought to your world to help strengthen you, to help build your resolve that this is the path that you're really going on. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the signs are given to you to say, no, this is the wrong path, and dissuading you from it. The answer to your question is really pulling the energy of what you're doing into your heart and asking yourself, feeling into it. When you feel into it with your heart, does it feel like the right thing to do? Or does it feel like it's meh, something that you could simply not do? If it's meh, then maybe don't do it. It's dissuading you from it. But if the passion and burn for this thing are still strong within you, and it feels like you know it like you know your name, then those obstacles and wrenches are simply there to give you strength. When you go to a gym, if you sat down and lifted 300 pounds, you'd probably die. But if you start with 10 pounds and then increase the resistance, it's going to be harder. It's going to feel like I should stop. But the more you do that, the more you can build up to that 300 pounds. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So really the answer lies within, how does it feel in your heart? When you are telling yourself this thing and you feel into it, does it still feel like a really good idea? If it does, then continue to do it and understand that those obstacles, those wrenches that you speak of, are there to simply strengthen you, strengthen your resolve, but also give you the tools and the resistance to be able to do what you're asking yourself to do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Helpful?
Yes.
Okay. Is there more?
I mean, Yeah, because I think so, because sometimes what if you don't know if you're feeling, if you want to go in a certain direction and you think, yeah, this is a good thing for me to do, but then maybe you question it, or maybe it didn't go as smoothly. So then the problem, I guess, is like, do I feel it in my heart enough to know?
So a lot of what you said has to do with being in your head about it.
Mm-hmm.
And what you said at the end, when you pull it into your heart and you just don't know, that would be what we would have classified as a meh. So probably don't. But if you overthink it too much, what we're really talking about is feeling it, like really sitting with it in your heart. And does it bloom? Does it spread warmth through you? That's a physical way to say yes. That is your body's reaction to it. If it doesn't bloom, if it doesn't feel like that, then that's your body's way of saying no. The trick is, are you still stuck in your head and unwilling to understand the signs your body is giving you because it sounds like a pretty neat idea? Does that make sense? And so we would say, as you feel it, as you allow yourself to really let it bloom, if it does bloom, the answer is yes. If it doesn't bloom, then the answer is no. And then just understand intellectually that your body has spoken. That is the seed of truth.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have two.
All right.
They're pretty, like, they're not as abstract. They're a little more concrete.
Sure.
I have a cat right now, and I'm wondering if that cat and I had a past life together that wasn't very good.
I understand exactly the question you were asking. I think it's not so much a past life as it is a personality conflict, and this is for both of you to learn tolerance, to learn how to navigate a personality, for lack of a better word, that is opposite to what one would call a natural flow. There is a connection and there is a love there. It isn't a past life connection so much as it is a, think Odd Couple. The energies are different and coming together. This is about both souls, because your cat is a piece of source energy as well. In learning to navigate the opposites. There is a love there, not just a dependence on food, but it is almost like a Oscar and Felix type relationship than it is a simpatico one. And so as time continues to evolve, come at it with that perspective. There's also an independence there that does not want to be squashed. And so that does play a role into it, but...
Is that in the cat? Or both of us?
I think you've answered your own question. It's an aspect of both of you, which is, again, that Oscar and Felix. Both were very independent individuals with very set personalities, and that's really what's coming to play here. But there was still a camaraderie, there was still a simpatico-ness there, a friendship that evolved, be it cantankerous, be it up and down. But that both of those energies, that is part of how both of you work. It's how both of you show affection. So that is a necessary element at this current time. It will subside in time. It will never not be there, because it is part of who each of you are, and your independence on both parties is very important to how the scenario plays out. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. It's exactly. Okay.
Second question.
Second question. I had a dream this morning, and I'm wondering if there's any more. I was interpreting it, but I'm wondering if there's some other information that I could get from that.
Dreams are archetypes. They're chances to leave this dimension back to the realm of spirit and to see things that will help you, but not in a distinct way. Understand that what you were seeing was about a feeling and a relationship, not concrete steps or reality, things to do in this reality. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Understand that the looking around piece of the dream is your search, simply an acknowledgement that you are, for lack of a better word, questing.
Uh-huh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Let the dream sit. It's about the archetypes more than actual actionable events. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It does.
Watch for the archetypes to play out in different ways in the upcoming weeks. That's the message.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It's very helpful. Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions?
Oh, I do.
Go right ahead.
The dimes. I find a lot of them, and then they stopped appearing. I didn't see any for a long time, and now they're starting to reappear again.
Our angels, guides, and ancestors walk with us at all times. There are times we need the messages and signs, and then there are times that we don't. And when the need arises to remind us of a path, of where we're going, of what we should be like, the signs show up. That doesn't mean when the signs weren't there, you were not alone, that you were alone. It just means that at that moment you didn't need them. And the challenge with any sign, with any communication from the other side, from those that have crossed over, is it can become a crutch. And they showed back up for you just as a reminder to remind you that there's more going on here than you know. But like Paul David said in the beginning, they're not going to tell you how to run your life per se, because they're just here to guide you, not to live your life for you. So when the dimes stopped showing up, you needed to be reminded and have the strength of your own experience to walk the path forward. Showing up again is just a reminder that there's more going on. And also, when those signs show up, pay attention to what's happening around where they are and when they show up. Does that make sense?
Yes.
There are things you need to pay attention to. But we will never help you by telling you exactly what to do. We simply show you signs like the dimes, like a rose, like a butterfly, like a bird, like a rabbit, like anything that you have picked, just to remind you to pay attention. Even numbers, several of you here see numbers, 1111, 222, 444. Again, those are signs to show you to pay attention, not necessarily the answers that other people have said they mean. They're just simply there to say, pay attention to what's going on. There's something more here for you to gain. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Helpful?
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I've started down the spiritual journey. I'm taking classes with Echo. And so, I don't know, like all paths forward, it's like a kid at a candy store kind of, where lots of them look good.
Mhm.
Just kind of looking for guidance on where to go next.
So Paul David wants to step in and play. We were asking him to not. The answer is simple. It's sort of going back to what we were talking about over here with feeling into it. we encourage you to explore all avenues and see what resonates with you. See what makes you go, ooh, okay, that's interesting. There are some aspects as you are exploring your journey that will resonate with you, that will play to your strengths, that will play to some of what you came in to do. And there are other aspects that will just be very interesting. Feel into those things with your heart. Does it feel good for you to be in that space? So for example, in psychic development, if you were looking at, we'll say, tarot cards for the sake of Paul David, and it really resonated with you, then pursue that path for as long as you want to. If it doesn't resonate with you, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because it may have a place down the line. If psychometry works for you, then follow that path. If mediumship works for you, then follow that path. You should learn about them all, but what the answer to the question really is, what makes you go, ooh, what excites you, what lights you up, what interests you? Those are the places you should start. But in all of this, all of these gifts work together. So you don't need to limit yourself, but we understand the need to find a place to start. The answer is, when you think about it and pull it into your heart, does it make you go, and warm and excited? Or does it make you go, meh? Follow the ones that make you go, ooh, and maybe don't, at this point, follow the ones that are meh. Does that make sense?
Yep.
To limit you by telling you a specific path robs you of the opportunity of finding out. And like we talked about with the gym, some of this, as you explore these gifts and you run into walls and you have barriers or you struggle through them, that is actually what strengthens your abilities. So we don't want to limit it by saying do X, Y, or Z when A, B, and C are just as valid to help you get to W, which is where you're going. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Exciting journey. It's a very exciting journey.
Okay, I'll go. The situation where a past relative communicates to me past traumas, intergenerational trauma, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. Am I supposed to do something with it?
Supposed to is such a human reaction. As you navigate your life, there are chances to heal ancestral traumas. But the only way to heal ancestral traumas is for you to work on yourself. We spoke earlier of examining your beliefs, your thoughts, things that you carry in your inner luggage, the tapes that play that others gave you. The only way you can heal any ancestral trauma is only by working on yourself. So a relative inserting themselves in your world is their responsibility to work on their life. You have no responsibility to help them heal, to heal them, to guide them in any way, shape, or form that doesn't resonate with you healing yourself. And the best way is to be, as we were talking of earlier, to be in your joy, to be in your wellness, to do your work for yourself and be the shining light that they might see the change in you and desire to know how you did it. But you can't fix them, help them, save them. You can only do that for yourself. Your life and your world are your responsibility. So work on yourself. If it resonates with you to heal what they are presenting to you, then heal it. And if it has no bearing on you and you have no interest in it, then there's no need for you to pursue it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's more.
It's just very strong with me, so I'm feeling what you're saying, so.
Fair.
Yeah.
Your only responsibility, and this is true of everyone in this planet, in fact, is to yourself. The only work you can do is on yourself. You cannot make yourself sick enough to heal all the sick people. You cannot make yourself poor enough to give wealth to all the poor people. The only thing you can do is work on your energy and your vibration. And the same was true of them. Now, do people like to push their stuff onto us? For sure. Work on you. Realize your power. Understand that you are a piece of source energy. You are more powerful than you know by how you move your energy, and how you fix yourself will radiate like a diamond, will shine like a star. That is the beacon for them to choose to change their lives or not. It's their choice.
Okay, so the messages are coming from the other side. So what if that is the pressure, or not pressure, but the messaging is?
So be very aware that spirit will never tell you what to do. That doesn't mean that energies aren't going to try to persuade you. What we said still holds true. Be that an angel, which it would never be, or an ancestor, which it might be because their personality persists. But even in spirit, and let's unpack that for a second. Spirit is simply a different frequency of the same energy. So when we in this room transition to non-physical, which by the way we all will, we are simply vibrating a different frequency, right? We still are only responsible for our existence and our energy as it relates to the source of all. So if you are receiving feedback telling you how to be or what to do, we would suggest that you perhaps don't consult that energy any longer, for that feels like an attachment or an energy vampire or a bunch of other things, a thought form. It's not how spirit would react with you, but still, if you feel called to work on what you are being shown for yourself, then do so. You cannot work on it for someone else. That is an inaccurate description of how things actually work. Now, are there spirits and entities and energies that will like to persuade you to believe that? There is. So perhaps find a shaman or a spiritual counselor to help you draw those barriers. But again, if you want to work on what they're suggesting for yourself, by all means do so, but there is no requirement from spirit for you to fix that on behalf of anyone else. Does that make sense?
Any other questions?
No one else. Did everyone get a turn? Did you get a turn?
Mhm.
That's interesting that you bring that up, because I'm interested, not saying that I want to solve something, but how do you know, like what, or is it even important to know, like what your ancestral line, but like if there's traumas or issues or whatever, or that you're here, even though I can't do it for somebody else, other than just working on myself, is it important to really know what your ancestral line trauma is in order to help me work on myself? Or is it not even, really?
It's not really necessary.
Okay.
Important is the word that we're focusing on. Important for whom? If it's curious to you, if you have a curiosity, then certainly explore it for the intellectual joy of it, but it is not necessary for you to dig into it, because if you do choose to dig into it, again, focusing on things bring those things to your reality.
Right.
Now, if it's an ancestral issue, that needs to be dealt with, it will already be showing up in your world. Things like greed or lack of self-esteem or abuse, those energies would already be present in your world, and you would already be crystal clear aware of them, that you should work on them, or be clear that you're avoiding them, depending on the personality, right?
Yeah.
So no need to dig in to find more, because in essence you may have already healed things, but by digging in you may scratch the scab, if you will.
Right.
So if it gives you intellectual interest, then by all means pursue it just simply for that reason. But it is not a requirement, because What is happening to you that needs to be healed, what is happening to you that needs to be dealt with in your incarnation is showing up for you in relationships, in where, just look around your world. Where are you vibrating at? What's showing up for you day to day? And then you can choose from that place to heal it, to move on by paying attention if you're in a place that you don't want to be, or there's an experience that you don't want. Those are the things that you should be focused on. And whether or not it's past trauma is not necessarily, it's not important to label it unless it is to you. But again, that's an intellectual argument, not a spiritual argument. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Because I think a lot of people, I mean, not necessarily for me, but, you know, maybe because you're getting messages or somebody else, I think that some people feel in this incarnation at this time, like, that they have all this work to do to, oh my God, I gotta hurry up and heal my ancestral line because I'm the culmination of everyone that has come before me, right? And so, like, we're here now. And so in these times of ascension, whatever, you're like, oh my God. I think some people feel like, oh my God, I need to get on this. And I need to do all the things so that I can ascend, you know?
That's a very human way of being.
I know.
And be very clear that this time is not the end of time.
No,
This life is not the end of lives. This
No.
is simply the grand adventure here and now. And so the sense of urgency they're placing on themselves, but again, the need to heal ancestral traumas doesn't exist unless you intellectually put it on there, which is an egoic problem, not a spirit problem.
Mm-hmm.
If everyone just simply works on what is present in their world for themselves, finding their joy, finding the things that make them happy, that will solve 99% of the problems.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a bigger ask than the words coming out of our mouth would let you know. Being in your joy is hard from the human perspective because we feel we have to. You don't have to do anything.
Right.
If you choose to, by all means do so. But just simply being in your joy and realizing you are source energy solves a lot of the traumas and problems that have grown up from ancestral times. Because the ancestral problems were about disconnecting from source energy, about disconnecting from personal power and joy. If you boil it down to the basics, that's the issue. And so being in the joy, feeling the joy, solves most of those problems in and of itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I feel like I'm doing that.
You are.
I feel like I'm doing it.
Yes,
So
you are.
I guess I don't necessarily feel like, I mean, I'm not being contacted, but I don't, on one hand, there's kind of this thing of like, you know, oh, you're here to heal your like, it's just out there, right? I don't necessarily buy into it, but I'm like, I feel like I am doing, like, being in my joy and living my best life, right? So that's great, but then I think a lot of the other messages are like, no, you really need to do something else, you know?
So be aware others will bleed their trauma all over you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you choose to allow them to stain your garment, then that's your choice. But understand that if you are focusing on your joy, if you are focusing on the fact that you are a piece of source energy, you are connected to all that is,
Yes.
there is no need for anything else. The other traumas that others may be urging you to are their issues of them not finding their power, not finding their joy. And that is a them problem, not a you problem, unless you focus on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, and I think that's for me that's really helpful, and I would think that's helpful for like a lot of other people because I think it would alleviate a lot of angst and like the should whatever that if people on a bigger level understood that.
Yeah, Paul David really wants to play right now. So we're gonna let him just simply say, people will shit all over you, right? And don't focus on that.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Back in your corner.
I do have one quick question.
Yes.
I think I would like a little more clarity when you said questing. I think I know what I'm doing, but is there some other what is questing then?
Questing is searching. It is taking the time to do your work. It is a spiritual workout. It is seeking the answers from within yourself. It is taking the time to dig into meditation, into silence, into nature. It is looking for the answers which you only ever realize in the end of the quest are within you yourself. So the questing we're speaking of is really looking to yourself, opening up, and reinforcing your connection to us, for lack of a better word, to your angels, guides, and ancestors, to source. So the quest is really ends up being a search within yourself for a stronger connection. Does that make sense?
Yes, perfect, thank you.
It is such a beautiful day today. We want to thank you for spending it with us. There are a lot of good pieces of information we have talked about today. We want to reinforce it is all about finding your joy, things that light you up, that remembering you are connected to us, to source energy, to all that is. There is nothing to fear. There is nothing to run away from. There is only joy and happiness to run towards. That when you are in that energy, when you are with a group of people that share that idea and share that energy, that changes the vibration of the space you're in. When people encounter you, they won't quite know why, but they feel better, they feel lighter, they feel encouraged, they feel joyful. That is how we change the world, by changing the vibration at a core level. Fear is not real. It is a human construct. Fear is a lack of understanding that you and everyone around you is source energy. That when people use that to manipulate, that is the illusion. Now, does pain exist on a human level? It does, but you are not just human. You are source energy. Remember that. Be in your joy, and those experiences cannot find you by vibration because you are at a higher level. The color red cannot find the color purple on a rainbow. They are opposite sides because they are opposite vibrations. That is the secret. Be in the joy. Feel the joy. Go forth and spread that light. We are complete.